Hi everyone, welcome to Netgate Chemistry. So in this video of coordination chemistry, we are going to discuss about the tetrahedral complexes. In the previous video, we have already discussed about the formation of octahedral complexes. So now we'll move ahead to tetrahedral complexes. In tetrahedral complexes, there will be a metal ion, obviously, and it is going to attach with 4 ligands, right? Now if I consider this to be one unit cell and metal is present in the center, okay, in the body center, so where will be the 4 positions for the attachment of ligands, that is from where these 4 ligands will be attaching. So it will be 1 adjacent lattice positions. So if this is occupied, this will be unoccupied, this will be occupied, unoccupied, then occupied, unoccupied and occupied, okay. So these are the 4 positions where ligands are going to get attached. This will be the metal, okay. So now we will look for the energies of each of them. Just like the previous case, here also metal is having d orbitals, 5 d orbitals, right? These are the d orbitals. Now what is going to happen? See, they will be having certain energy. Now when ligand starts to approach from infinity, suppose this is one ligand which was initially approaching from infinity towards this metal. So what was happening? See, all the d orbitals were excited, all of these 5 d orbitals were excited like this, right? When ligand approaches a finite distance, then what happens? We see that only few of them get excited and the other get slightly de-excited. So which one of the orbitals get excited and which one get slightly de-excited, that we have to see. See, in this case what happens? This is the central metal. Here the metal is present like this, okay, and it has x, y and z axis. Now there are orbitals dxy, dyz, dzx present in between the axis, and on the axis dx square minus y square and dz square are present, right? So now what happens? See, if I want to locate, this is a unit cell, right? Like this is a unit cell. Now what happens? These are the 3 d orbitals which are present in between the plane. So their orientation, if I want to show their orientation, then what would it look like? They will be present like this, right? Slightly, actually these are in between the axis, so they will be oriented like this. I am showing only one of these orbitals, right? And if I talk about the dx square minus y square and dz square, these orbitals are present along the axis. So this is the x-axis, right? If suppose this is the x-axis, then they will be oriented along the axis like this, okay. Here also I am showing one of the orbitals, okay. So the orientation of these orbitals will be like this. So now I hope the orientation is clear now. See, these are the xy, dyz and dzx orbitals. They will be present in between the axis. That is why I have shown one of these orbitals present like this, right? And dx square minus y square and dz square, they will be present along the axis. So they will be present just like this. So these are present non-axially and these two are present axially. If I first talk about the non-axial orbitals, then if I again draw this, then you will see what happens. If here is the metal, then non-axial orbitals, they are present like this, right? Okay, this is the x-axis, this is y, and this is z-axis. I hope non-axial orbitals orientation is clear now. So now if we look for ligands will be coming from infinity towards this metal and will be attaching here at this position. If I talk about only one ligand, then it is attaching at this position. So what happens? What are the observations now? The observation is that the ligand is approaching the metal, right? And the interaction between this ligand and these non-axial orbital, this is not head-to-head interactions, right? This is not head-to-head interactions, right? So if I take out this face, okay, if I take out the face, then you will see somewhat here is the metal, right? And here is the orbital, and ligand is approaching from here at an angle, right? It is approaching at an angle, so the interactions are not head to head. That is why the splitting is also less in case of tetrahedral complexes if we compare them to the octahedral complexes. This is one of the reasons. Also there is one more reason, that is the number of ligands are less. In case of octahedral complexes, the number of ligands which attach to the central metal are 6, and in case of tetrahedral complexes 4 ligands are going to attach. Okay, so this is actually the next topic. Before that, if we look for the splitting of these tetrahedral, then it is 4/9 times of del O, that is octahedral. So if we talk about a little bit about the splitting, then what happens? See, dxy, dyz and dzx, they are going to get excited because they are going to attach with the ligand directly. So dxy, dyz and dzx, they are going to higher energy, and the axial orbitals dx square minus y square and dz square, they are going to get slightly de-excited but not as much stabilized as the initial d orbital before the ligand was approaching, right? So the splitting in case of tetrahedral complexes is opposite to that of octahedral complexes, but remember that this splitting, right, this splitting between the d orbitals is less as compared to the splitting in case of octahedral complexes, that we are going to study in the next topic, why this is so. Okay, so now if we talk about the reasons, you can write it fully, that reasons for low splitting of orbitals in case of tetrahedral complexes as compared to octahedral. So I'm simply writing reasons for low del T as compared to del O. So the first reason will be obviously number of ligands, right? That is, in case of tetrahedral complexes, number of ligands are less. These are 4 in number as compared to octahedral complexes. In case of tetrahedral complexes, number of ligands are 4, and in case of octahedral complexes, number of ligands are 6. So this is the first reason. Now coming to the second reason, that also we have discussed, that is the interactions are not head to head, right? not head-to-head interactions between ligand and the d orbitals. Okay, so this is the second reason for low splitting in case of tetrahedral complexes. So now we will look for the factors which are going to affect this splitting in case of any complexes, octahedral or tetrahedral. So the next topic which we are going to discuss is the factors which are going to affect the magnitude of splitting in case of coordination complexes. So moving on to the next topic, that is factors affecting magnitude of splitting in case of coordination complexes. Okay, so the first factor which we are going to discuss is the nature of metal. So if we are talking about nature of metal, then first in that category we will discuss about the oxidation state. See, if there is a metal present and its oxidation state is increasing, then what is going to happen with the splitting of the d orbitals of the metal? So if oxidation state increases, then magnitude of splitting will also increase. Why? Because there will be more interactions between metal and ligand, right? Metal and ligand interactions will increase because ligands are negatively charged species, right? If the oxidation state of metal is increasing, that means the positive charge on metal is increasing. If positive charge on metal is increasing, ligands are negatively charged species, then definitely the interactions between these negatively and positively charged species are going to increase. More are the interactions, then what happens? Splitting is going to increase, right? So for example, if we have a complex, say CONH3 6 3 positive, also we have a complex CONH3 6 2 positive, and we are being asked in which case the magnitude of splitting will be more, then definitely in case of CONH3 6 3 positive, splitting will be more, because here the oxidation state of cobalt is +3, here is +2. So here the metal is having more oxidation state, so what happens? It has more positive charge, so it will attract these negatively charged species towards itself. More will be the attractions, more will be the repulsion between the electron clouds and the ligands, and more the repulsions, more will be the splitting, right? So this is the first factor. Okay, the second factor is principal quantum number of d orbitals. So for that, consider metal is having 3d or 4d or 5d orbitals in different cases. So in which case splitting is going to be more, that we have to identify. So simply you have to understand that what happens if when we move from 3d to 4d and we move from 4d to 5d, what happens? There is increase in the value of del O. Okay, if we move from 3d to 4d, del O increases, from 4d to 5d, del O increases. But also there is one more thing which we have to understand, that suppose here we are moving from 3D to 4D, then it is going to approximately increase. Del O is approximately going to increase from 40 to 50%, right? And from 4D to 5D it is going to increase again from 40 to 50%. So suppose we have case of a certain complex having cobalt 3 positive as the central metal, rhodium 3 positive as the central metal, or iridium 3 positive as the central metal. Suppose we have 3 different complexes in which 3 different types of central metals are present. So these are from same group. So what happens on moving down, del O increases. Okay, this belongs to 3D, this belongs to 4D series, this belongs to 5D series. So why this happens? Due to lengthenoid contractions. Okay, due to lengthenoid contractions. Now what happens because of lengthenoid contraction? The size does not increase as much effectively as the charge, so thereby increasing the Z effective. So from moving 3D to 4D and 4D to 5D, del O increases. I hope this is clear. You will be knowing about the lengthenoid contractions. So what happens? Moving down the group, due to lengthenoid contractions, size is not going to increase as much due to the contractions, lengthenoid contractions, but the charge is increasing. So what happens? Net Z effective increases. Okay, this is the second factor. Now moving on to the third factor, which is number of d electrons. So for that, if we look at this series, scandium 2 positive, titanium 2 positive, vanadium 2 positive, okay, like that. Scandium 2 positive is having D1 configuration, this is D2, D3 and so on. If we move like this, then Z effective is almost going to remain constant, right? Z effective is almost going to remain constant. So del can increase or decrease. So if we look at number of d electron, based on the number of d electrons we cannot predict the value of del O or del T. Okay, this is very important conclusion. If we look at the oxidation states, based on oxidation states we can tell relatively which one will be having more splitting of orbitals. Based on principal quantum number also we can tell, but based on d electrons we cannot tell that. Okay, now for looking at the splitting, we have to majorly see two things: the oxidation state and principal quantum number. But if a question arises in which both oxidation state and principal quantum number both are changing, then how to look for the answer? Suppose there have been given 3 compounds in which out of 3, 2 compounds have different oxidation states and 2 of the compounds have different principal quantum numbers. Then how to do the comparison? For that you can have a note point. See, if oxidation state is increasing by 1 unit, right, just like this case, +2 and +3, and also in a question principal quantum number, okay, your principal quantum number is also increasing by 1 unit, then principal quantum number value, the one having higher principal quantum number value will be having more del O. In this case, the compound having more value of principal quantum number will be having more splitting. But if oxidation state is increasing more than 1 unit, okay, suppose 2 units or 3 units, suppose we have 2 compounds, but in both of suppose one is having +2 oxidation state, the other one is having +4 oxidation state, then in that complex having higher oxidation state of metal will have more del O. Okay, then we'll look for the oxidation state. Okay, so I hope this note point is clear to you. I will explain you this again. If suppose we have been given two compounds, and in both of those compounds what is happening, both are having a difference of one oxidation state. Suppose there are two compounds. In one compound there is +1 oxidation state of central metal ion, and the other compound there is +2 oxidation state, but also there is difference of principal quantum number. Okay, suppose here the principal quantum number is 3, here the principal quantum number is 4. Then if there is a difference of only one oxidation state, then we'll go for the preference of principal quantum number. The one having higher principal quantum number will be having high del O value. Okay, this is the case when we have only difference of one oxidation state, right? In those two compounds in which we have only difference of only one oxidation state and different principal quantum numbers, will give preference to the principal quantum number. That is, the one having the higher value of principal quantum number will be having higher del O value. But if in these two compounds we have difference of more than one oxidation state, suppose we have been given two compounds, first one is having +1 oxidation state, other is having +3 oxidation state, and both are having principal quantum number. Suppose this is having principal quantum number value of 3 and this one is having principal quantum number value of 4. Then the one having higher oxidation state will be having more del O value. Okay, so you just have to see first the oxidation state. If the oxidation state is increasing by 1 unit, then go for the preference of principal quantum number. That is, the compound having higher principal quantum number value will be having higher del O. But if there is difference of more than one oxidation state, then no need to look for the principal quantum number value. Just go for the compound having more oxidation state. The one having more oxidation state of central metal ion will be having more del O value. So I hope this note point is clear. So this is about the factor affecting magnitude of splitting in case of coordination complexes. The first one which we have discussed is nature of metal. Now in the next video we are going to discuss about the nature of ligands, how the nature of ligand affect the magnitude of splitting in case of coordination complexes. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful for you. So far that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.